Welcome to the Aidoo show. Honestly, I wish you were all here with us. We're laughing, being kids, being adults, enjoying ourselves. And this is what this show is about. To give you a chance to be yourself, to laugh, to be happy, to let things go so that you can be who you are. It's the Aidoo show, the show that aims to encourage you, inspire you, and let you know that wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whichever way you look, God has the best plans for you. And so you should look up. Today's show is all about courage. I believe without courage, we're not able to do anything. I look at recently the passing of the Apple founder, and you can tell that this man had courage under the worst of circumstances. I listened to his speech on YouTube. He wasn't wanted when he was born. He was given up for adoption. The adoptive parents did not want him unless his parents agreed that he was going to go to university. He founded a company and was fired later on. This man faced all kinds of things. He was a college dropout. He went back to school. He started the company and came back and built again. That is just one of the many stories that inspires us. So tune in. We're bringing you ladies with fire, ladies that are very calm and in control, ladies who just know what they're doing with this thing called life. And so stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the Aidoo show. I'm telling you people, you want to be in this studio right at this moment, because this is the place to be. We're laughing and enjoying ourselves. Today, I have 4 beautiful women. Women who've been through it, who's gone up, who's gone down, who's done everything they can to stay above and to keep on plugging. We have Cecilia with us. We have Nadia. We have Sandra. And we have Carol Ann. Welcome all of you to this show. I'm honored and blessed to have you here. This is, I don't know what to say, but all I know is I'm encouraged. You all encourage me. Thank you for being here. And like I said, today we're going to talk about finding one's own courage. You and I both know that without the courage, we can't do anything in life. So Cecilia, if you can tell us a bit about yourself and how you go from day to day with courage and faith living your life.
Courage is a gift from God, because without Him, you can't do nothing. So I start my day, put myself in His hands, and then go about, see what He's going to do in my life. Since I'm a retired woman, I'm retired.
Retired? Look at this woman.
She looks 29.
Let me sit properly. She does look 29, doesn't she?
Yes.
I'm retired, and so luckily my husband is also with me. We both home. So we get up in the morning, and after putting ourselves in God's hands, we head to the gym. And we go and work out there. Meet friends, work out, talk about God, do some A1 business, and come home.
Have to plug the business in.
Yes, and then come home. But I have, in the evenings, I normally have church businesses. Go to church, go to prayer meetings, go to the choir practice. I like to spend the evening worshiping God and doing His work.
Awesome.
And some evenings too, or some days I visit the nursing homes. I have some friends there, and it's a delight to be there. Because when you enter that room and you see the faces and the kisses that blow you, it really lights you up.
Awesome.
So I'm so glad to be part of them, to visit them. Sometimes I cook for them. And I have some other old ladies You know, I surrounded myself with old people. 'Cause they give you the joy and they appreciate you, really.
Yes, yes.
So when you do all these things, you find comfort, you find peace, and you find joy in your life.
Awesome.
Because you know that you're doing God's work.
Nice.
And
Wow.
and you in the end you see the reward, you see the blessings, and thanks to the grace that He gives us to move on.
Ooh,
Oh, that's a little bit of what I do.
I feel chills. Do you? Because like you said, when you do something good, it is by His grace that we go from day to day. Thank you. So, Miss Nadia, you give us a bit about your beautiful self. She has a beautiful smile. People watch it.
Courage. I have been through a lot in my life. I've had a lot of obstacles to come up against. And honestly, my courage is in my belly. It's that resilience that I find every day when I wake up and I open my eyes, or I'm about to open my eyes, and I think to myself, what am I going to do with my day?
Yeah.
And when I go about what I'm going to do for my day, how can I impact somebody else, even if
Right.
it's only one person, and inspire them, and tell them my story, or share with them some of the things that I've been through, because I think that there's a natural identification that happens between two people
Right.
when you're talking about something that has to do with, emotion or struggle. And when those two meet, those two lines become parallel,
Fireworks.
nothing can stop it. Nothing can stop it.
Right.
So I'm in the process right now of building my courage and working on my fire, and really just trying to find my direction right now.
Working on her fire. Fire. I always give, there's a quote that I like, and the quote is, gold comes to its purest form after you've been through the fiery furnace. And this just came to mind when you talked about building your fire to go forward. Because to go forward after you've been through a lot takes a lot of courage. And so when you're building up the fire, you know you're going to go far. So, I just love it. I just love it. So we're going to move on now to Sandra. Sandra and I have known each other for years, and her
Many
smile.
years. Many
What is
years.
with you people and your smiles?
We're happy. What can we say? We're happy. We're
I
happy.
love it. You see that? We're happy. Now, saying we're happy doesn't mean we haven't been through anything. Saying we're happy doesn't mean everything is nice and fluffy, but it means we've overcome. It means we've gone through and we've come up right, standing tall. It means we're still going through, but with courage, we're going for it. Back to you, Miss Sandra.
Okay, well, what can I say about courage? I too, like you ladies, have been through many challenges in my life. And the one thing that I found that has helped keep me sane and keep me moving forward is believe. And that's my personal motto. To believe in yourself, believe in other people, that they have something to contribute, and certainly believe that whatever it is that you want for your life is possible. And every time I had a crisis, I looked at it as a challenge. And I never thought, oh my God, my world is over, I'm going to die, or anything like that.
Yeah.
I just thought, you know what, I'm going to get past this. I'll get better, or I'll get the resources, but I'll get past it. And so for me, it's purely a belief that I can do it, or the people around me can do it. And it served me very well.
And the thing about it is, and I also find is, when we have courage, we give other people the courage to have courage. I find that sometimes when we're too negative, we pull people down, because it seems like we don't have the courage in our stomach to look for what is best out there. But I find that when we have the courage to overcome and to step out and to go beyond our limited boundaries, we give others the courage to shine. And me right now, you people here are giving me the courage. So Caroline, if you can give us a bit about yourself too.
Thanks, Anna. And for me, courage is not about jumping out of airplanes, though people encourage me to take up skydiving or whatever that is. For me, it's a quiet inner gutsiness that is not to be mistaken. It's an energy carried, and it exudes outward to leave a positive ripple effect everywhere one goes or where I strive to go of a day. I love a saying from a former colleague who said, do you leave a trail of kindness today?
Yes.
And that is what I try to do. Not every day I'm successful. However, it's an intention and a commitment, and that is aided for me in maintaining things like a gratitude journal, where I frame myself towards strength and courage every day by writing out the things for which I was grateful, and also the noticing of my impact on others. And I do feel, like all of these ladies, that it's an inner centeredness, a groundedness, a way of walking every day in the world, and it takes that real inner conviction to do it, no matter trying times or otherwise.
I'm going to cry. But no, I'm a tough girl. I don't cry. I'm a tough girl. I don't cry. You know, and I'm 12, if you believe me. But anyway, I'm inspired by each one of these ladies. And that brings us to one event that we have coming up, the Women's Courage Awards. The awards is about the courage of a woman to overcome. It's about the courage of a child to overcome. It's about the courage of a man to overcome. But our focus is women, only because there's a saying that says, when you raise a woman, you raise a family. Nothing wrong with the men, nothing wrong.
Just clarify that.
Please don't write to me. Nothing wrong with the men, but always saying is that growing up in Ghana, West Africa, of course, I don't know if you've seen on TV, but some of the things you see on TV with World Vision are real. They are real, and let's not even get it wrong. You'll go to Ghana and you'll go into the open market, you'll see a woman with a baby on her back, carrying a heavy load of maybe rice that she's boiled for the day to sell, or maybe, you know, little things, without knowing whether she's going to sell anything or not. But she carries it on her head, carries her baby on her back, sometimes no shoes on, and she would walk from one end to the street to the other, just hoping and praying that somebody will buy something. The interesting thing about this is some of these women have raised very successful people. And so as I grew up, and I thought about it, now that I'm in North America, and I thought about it, I would close my eyes and I don't know where they get their courage from. But I know that it is God Himself who gives us the courage. And so the Women's Courage Awards celebrates women and their contribution to humanity. So talking about some of the things these women go through, Sandra, can you give us an example of maybe something that you've been through and where you've gotten the courage to stand, when I'm sure you probably knew that this is it, this is the last one that's going to take me out, but you're like, no.
Gosh, where do I start? There's been so many situations that I've been confronted with in my life. I mean, right now I have one where I need surgery on my arm, and I need a bypass on my arm, and it's very painful, and that's okay, but some people are very worried and saying, oh my God, are you okay? And I don't feel worried because I believe it will get better. And to me, it's about thinking positive. It's just always finding the positive outlook or the positive outcome for everything that you do. And yes, we have to think about the negative side and what the worst case scenario is, so we're prepared. But if you think of the positive outlook, and it just keeps you moving forward. And I coach many people, and when they're stuck and feeling like there's no opportunity for them, or that they don't have any value to contribute, to help them find the positive and the strength that they have inside them, because we all do. Wow. Everybody has something wonderful to contribute. Yes. It's just up to us to find it. And I think these ladies have found theirs in terms of courage and finding a way to move it forward.
You said, Cecilia, you said something about surrounding yourself with older people and the smile that they give you. Where do you think, when you go into the nursing home, sometimes it can be quite devastating. When you go in there, where do you think these older people find the courage to, this is not what they planned for their lives, to end up in the nursing home. Not to say that there's anything wrong with the nursing home, but nobody lives their life planning
Right.
to end up in a nursing home, being, So where do you think they find their courage from? And where do you find your courage after retiring? Why don't you just sit in your couch, drink some tea, read some magazines after all you're retired? Where do you and these people find the courage? Because I'm thinking Florida, in the sun.
Yeah, I think as human beings, we comfort each other. Just the fact that you have somebody coming in to see you, it makes you feel special.
Yes.
That you think she thinks about me and she came here purposely for me.
Right.
So once you enter in there, the ways you see, they look at you, the kisses they blow you, it makes you feel good too. You know that they're expecting you, they're waiting for you.
Wow.
And it's so nice. Like it gives me so much strength, and like I'm always looking forward to go there.
Wow.
There's one last weekend I went to visit one of them, and normally I cook for her. She's an African. But when I get there, the kisses she blows me, and then clapping and all that.
You have your own cheerleader.
Oh, you feel so good, and you thank God for putting you in these people's hands, like,
So it's true what they say, that you never give without getting back. Because you're standing in your kitchen, cooking, ready to go, and you get there, and they're blowing you kisses.
Yes.
Yes. I always say sometimes that if we cared about each other, so many of us wouldn't be in therapy.
It's true. It's true.
We wouldn't be taking medication. There'll be no depression. And sometimes I think loneliness just, puts us into so many diseases. I mean, all kinds of things. So Nadia, for you, you said at the beginning that you've been through a lot. Obviously, you're a young lady.
Yes.
Can you think about a time when you were so down and out and where you picked up that courage? Because that's what I want people to get. That no matter where you are, no matter what is going on, even if you think this is the last breath, you need to pick yourself up. Because Miss Nadia here has gone through, and she's going to give us an example. I'm recording her, I'll be listening.
You know what? As soon as you said that, one circumstance in my life comes to mind right away. A lot of people, I think, over the years tend to imagine themselves when they come up against an issue or a problem as being in a cell. Okay.
Like
being in a rock between a rock and a hard place, or being trapped in a cell that you just can't get out of. There's not a way out of that. And that happened for me realistically. I was involved in a situation where it was a domestic situation between a partner and I that I had been seeing. And things got out of hand, and I ended up going to jail and being arrested and taken to jail.
Hold that thought. This one is juicy. So, like she said, a lot of us, when we come up against a problem, feel boxed in. And she actually lived it. We'll be right back. Grab a chair, grab coffee, some bonbons, some cake, and we'll be back to listen to Miss Nadia, a warrior. All right, so this is going good, I'm telling you. I love reality. We here are not even playing. We're laying it out so that wherever you are, you're not supposed to be perfect.
No.
None of us is supposed to be perfect. So if you're watching this show and you're feeling suffocated because you've told yourself that perfection is the way to go, drop it. Be you. Join us, call us, let's laugh, let's eat, let's enjoy ourselves. Because, we only live once. Forget perfection. Put that quote down. The quote, quote. Take the reality quote and join us. Let's live it up. So let's go back to Miss Nadia. Tell us about this reality that you've lived.
Yes. So the reality was I was in a cell. And most people only get to virtually experience that in their lives. So when I was actually put into a cell, my first instinct was one to panic and be anxious and to realize that one, I would never be able to take a breath of fresh air again because everything is filtered. There's no windows. You can't see outside. You're not checking out the grass and how it's going. Like, you're in that cell, and that's it. And you have a roommate. And at that moment, when I was put in the cell, after going through, you know, being checked when I got into the jail and just, you know, everything, all the routine, they had put me in my cell because they were on lockdown that day because there had been an incident earlier. And I can't explain to you or tell you how I found the fire inside my belly, but at one point I was sitting on my cot and I had my hands wrapped up around my knees and I was crying my eyes out. And the only thing that came to my mind at that point is, how are you going to get through this? Because this isn't the end for you. So as I began to think on that and realize just how my choices as well as other people's choices in my life had affected where I was, I thought from that moment, where do I want to be? Obviously not sitting in a cell feeling blocked and frustrated and upset. And yeah, exactly. I was suffocating, literally. And I just kept saying over and over to myself, this is my second chance. This isn't the end, because most people, when they get to that point where they feel that, like they're in a cell, that's the end for them. They've said, okay, you know what, I'm so far down the hole, I can't dig myself out. And I'm not going to lie to you. There were moments in that cell before I found my courage that I was like, you know what, this is the end. This is the end of the road, and I'm willing to
just give it up.
Just give up. Just give up and let go. And that's it. And then I found that inner voice inside myself that says, no, but there's more. That's not the end. So from that point on, it's been a steady process of getting stronger. I can't say that I walked out of there and I was instantaneously reformed. It's taken me a while to take those habits and that anger and that sadness and just the resentment, I guess, of allowing myself to get to that point. It's slowly coming. It's slowly coming out. And as it comes out, my smile gets bigger. And as it comes out and I talk to other people, exactly what you said and exactly what you said, I agree with you, that being with other people and sharing your story, a lot of women wouldn't share something like that because it's a source of shame.
Right.
But for me, I don't want it to be a source of shame. I want to look at other women and say, okay, you know what, these are the real things that happen in life. How can we move forward from here?
Yes.
How can we inspire each other? How can I give you courage out of what I've gone through to get through what you're going through? Right? So one of the things I found, and I want to leave people with as well as a thought, is sometimes we're so anxious or excited to change that we don't realize at the time when we're making those changes that we need to have patience with ourselves. Because I was I got out, I had a fire in my stomach, and I was like, I am going to change the world.
Yes.
Right? But the thing is you got to have patience. If you're going to change the world, then you're going to do it one person at a time, one smile at a time, one story at a time. It's patience. And that is something that I've had to find and know that years of the things I've gone through, because that's, Lord knows that's not the only thing I've been through.
I think we're going to need about 6 segments just for you.
But yeah, years. It doesn't just take months to get over the pain. It doesn't just take days to get over the tears. It's a process. And that is why I'm grateful to have met each one of these women. And I'm so excited for the Courage Awards because I will get a chance to stand up there and feel courageous. And there is nothing that can beat that.
Oh, I'm going to cry again, you know? But you are a courageous woman.
Thank you.
I respect you. I respect the fact that you're able to share this story. And like I said, it's not supposed to be perfect. I mean, when you look at Nadia, she's the ultimate beautiful lady. So what I'm saying is, she told you, it's taking some time, one step at a time. So don't be in a rush. You know, Disney movies are Disney movies. They are characters that have been put on TV for you to see. But then there's real life. And in real life, there's hope. In real life, there's joy. In real life, there's sadness. But whenever the sadness comes, you dig in. You go deep within your stomach. Like she said, when she sat there, she said, this isn't the end for me. And I know her. I just love her smile. I know she's going to do well. She's already doing well. you know. So, wow, I have to clap for Nadia. I love that you're able to share this story.
Thank you.
I love that you're able to share this story and not break down. I love that. So we're all behind you.
I've been close to tears. Just to be fair, I've been close to tears.
And it's okay. I always tell people, you know, I think I'm going to have a festival. Call it the Cry Fest.
I am
We
so
go
there.
to the we go to the Kleenex people. We ask them for boxes and boxes of Kleenex. We come to All Talk TV. We get the producer and we just do the Cry Fest. We just boo-hoo everything.
Would that be a Guinness World Record, though?
It would
Really?
be a Guinness record.
I think we should go for
so
that.
get ready. Sign up. And on that note, we go to Miss Caroline, who is a tough one too. I mean, you tell us your story. Whichever one you think will inspire people. Dig in your files of, you know how we file things.
Yes, I do. Yes, searching the file. I pick growing up in a household as an only child, the daughter of a father who struck. Oh, I choose through the files the story of growing up as an only child of an alcoholic father and a mentally ill mother. And at that time, which spans my age groups between probably about 10 and 24 when I left that environment, I can say squarely it was no picnic.
No.
We lived on a suburban street. It looks completely pristine on the outside. The walkways are perfect. The planters are perfect. And yet I squarely thought while growing up, feeling so profoundly alone in the world, I can't even begin to describe you, that I honestly felt for all those years, I have to be the only one that is going through this.
Right.
And I didn't know, as I know now, that I was most certainly not alone in the world at all. Especially the issues of alcoholism have become very known, understood, prevalent, accepted, that
Sort
is
of,
something
yeah.
that
That
you know, a lot
happens.
of people struggle with. However, I don't think that my mother's paranoid schizophrenia is still something that people quite understand. Yet, my courage from that environment comes by transforming those experiences. As a corporate trainer and coach, people often ask me, Caroline, how come you listen quite well? Because as a student and as a young woman, I think I'd say I was the only adult in that environment, and thus I spent many an hour trying to work through with my mother her issues. I can also tell you it's a squarely frustrating experience to actually start to get somewhere, and then she snapped back. Nonetheless, I'm one of those people that truly believes that you choose everyone and everything in your life. So even though those circumstances were bitterly painful and alienating at the time, I know that I chose those two, my father and my mother, exactly for the reason that they would help me to develop the inner courage by which I'm now known, and they actually inform a significant part of my life's work where I seek to help, like you, Nadia, people who have felt my similar circumstances as disenfranchised and alone in the world as I do. So I'm not kidding, and I'm not being sarcastic, that I am glad for having had those circumstances because they have taught me a lot, and they have formed who I have become and who I continue to unfold as.
Wow. You know, when you find gratitude in pain, I think you're going to overcome. Because the reason is, you know how they say once you hit bottom, there's nowhere else to go but up?
Right.
You know what I mean? And as a child, as an only child, living in an area where everything is supposed to be perfect, the grass is green, you know, the house is nicely painted. Come Christmas time, the lights are up and everything. I can imagine when you close the door, I can imagine the darkness that you felt. And sometimes I come across, and there are times when I've also felt, you know, this darkness. I was telling Sandra this afternoon on the phone a few years back when I was hospitalized, and the doctors will come in and out. We don't know what is wrong with you, this and that. And one doctor finally told me, if we don't find what is wrong with you, with the way your body is going, there's nothing we can do. Basically, I don't even want to think what he was trying to say. So I listened to him, and when he left, all I did was I prayed. There is power in prayer, people. I prayed and I said, God, this is dark. This is dark. I mean, people were coming and going and laughing with me, praying with me and everything. But when everybody was gone, it was such a lonely time. It was such a dark time. It felt like there was a pain in my stomach that I could practically pick if I could and throw out. But I was 40-something at the time. So whenever I think about children who have to face what you faced, in this case, with a mother who wasn't mentally stable, you practically became an adult. But like you said, here you are, you're grateful for it, because now you're able to stand on those times. Yes. You're able to take that dark moment. And you said something earlier about courage is about, you said something about a quietness in your stomach, which as a child, that's all you can lean on. A quietness in your stomach to face the next day. And so people, whatever you're going through, be it financial difficulties, mental difficulties, sexual abuse, physical abuse, any type of thing that you're going through, know that you're going to make it. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to kill you. Don't let it kill you, because you have the power. We each have the power to not let things bring us down to a point where people that are surrounding us become depressed. I believe what I love about working towards this Women's Courage Awards is the excitement I feel. I panic. I panic because I want it to be a lot of fun for everybody. But at the same time, it's like, okay, if it doesn't work well, people are not going to be happy. But one thing I have learned, and I was telling my auntie here when we were coming, the power of people. How people will come in and help if you open your mouth and ask for help. It's funny, when I met Sandra and I have been going back and forth almost 10 years now.
That's right. That's right.
Talking back and forth. But when we connected, I was like, Sandra, this thing is driving me crazy. I'm going to give up. And she's like, no. And you know, we were having a conversation. I was like, so we wrote so many things, and you looked at me, you just looked at me and you were like, Anna. And the way she looked at me, like, Anna, it seemed so simple to her, and it seemed complicated to me. I'm telling you that I was so tired. I was so tired. I was ready to pack it in. So one of the things I've learned, and you've said it, and you've said it, you've said it, you've said it. When you go to the nursing home, the smile that they give you, the kisses they blow you, you were grateful for the people you're surrounded by. You know, we've all talked, you, in spite of everything that you were going through, you still are grateful now, because these two people, in spite of the circumstances, gave you a kind of strength that you still work with today. So what we're saying is, don't give up wherever you are. Come to the Women's Courage Awards. I'm telling you, we're honoring women, but you want to be there, because there's going to be belly dancing, there's going to be lyrical dancing, there's going to be African dancing, there's going to be prizes, there's going to be laughter. Actually, laughter is number one. It's very, very important. You know, so you have, Cecilia, you now have adult children.
Yes.
Right? 3, very respectful. You know, what would you tell women out there that are raising children that thing they're not going to make. Because sometimes being a mom is like, what do you tell those women who are out there and feel like they can't handle it? Because sometimes women do strange things, and we can use this opportunity to, you know, give them a little encouragement to hang in there. What would you say to these women?
I would say just trust God. Because as humans, we don't know what we're doing, and we don't even know where we're going.
Right.
It's only by His grace. So trust your instincts. Do the best you can. Just work hard, support the children, and just encourage them to make the best of life.
On that note,
Yes.
make the best of life.
Yes.
We'll be right back with this conversation. But mark your calendar, October 29th. The address is 4000 Steeles Avenue. It's Woodbridge Banquet Hall for the nicest event. I'm not going to say biggest because that's not the point. We're talking about nice. We're talking about encouraging. We're talking about having comfort among other people. So we'll be right back. Be encouraged. Be inspired. Thank you. Back, still laughing, still enjoying ourselves. You know what I love about this Saturday afternoon? We're sitting here, you know, we're just being ourselves. No, nothing in the closet. Too bad we only have an hour, because if we had 6, it'll be a different story. You know, you'll just bring up, you'll call the Kleenex people to deliver by DHL the tissues so we can get the Cry Fest going. But I told you, mark your calendar for Cry Fest. We're planning Cry Fest down the road somewhere, but for now, it's the Women's Courage Awards. Yes. Come have fun. Come enjoy yourself. Come and watch these ladies who have gone through. The Bible says, Psalm 23, it says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. It wasn't until I grew up and I was going through my own issues that that psalm sank into my system. It sort of sank into my soul. It says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. And sometimes we all know that we find ourselves in circumstances where we think this is the end. But death has no power over us if we have courage. Death has no power over... Look at Oprah. What didn't this woman go through? What wasn't she told? I mean, she was practically told America wasn't ready for a woman with kinky hair. But courage, look what courage has done. We're all beneficiaries of this woman's work. And so, Sandra, you are into coaching and all that. So right now, if there's somebody out there who thinks, okay, I'm done, I'm not going to make it, I can't handle it, where should they start from? Like baby steps, where should they start from?
And it's very common, and I see that all the time. People just don't have a sense of their own value and where they are. And so I would encourage people to take a look at, even take a piece of paper and write down, what are my strengths? What am I good at? And you make that list of all the things and attributes about yourself. It could be, I have a nice smile, I'm friendly, I can bake cakes, I can fix cars, whatever it is that you can do. And then think about, well, what would my spouse say? What would my kids say? What would my boss say? What would my friends say? And you get a 360-degree view of yourself and all the strengths that you have. And then you start to think about, what might my hobbies be? How do I like to spend my time? And another exercise you can do is, what do I value in my life?
Yes.
And that's something that I notice here as we're all talking. We all value making a difference in people's lives.
Right.
And that's why there's such synergy between all of us. And if that's a value that you have, whatever your values are, find a way to live them. And when you have this, it becomes a checklist. I call it a personal foundation.
Right.
And your personal foundation would say, this is who I am, this is what I stand for, this is what I believe in, and this is how I choose to live my life. Now, when I have an opportunity to make a decision, is this the right decision for me? Is this the right relationship, the right job? Whatever it is, I go to my checklist and say, yes, It has integrity, I have integrity. It gives back to the community, I give back to the community.
Wow.
That gives you strength. When people around you are saying, you're no good, you're not smart, you can't do that, forget it, because I know. I know I can do it, and eventually it's that inner strength that comes out, which is what you're saying too. But it's a tool to help you.
And it goes back to what you're saying about belief.
Yes.
You know, it goes back to what you're saying about belief. And talking about what do I like to do and this and that, I'm just grateful to have the opportunity to every year bring women together where we just honor their story.
Yes.
And when we bring these women together, it's not just those women that are coming. Their families are coming, their friends are coming. The thing I love about it is in that moment, what I want is in that moment, when they receive the award, their family should be right there with them. So that when we take the picture, that moment is captured. Because these are people you love. These are people who maybe, you know, sometimes you love somebody, but you don't really pay attention to them.
Love shows up differently. Yes.
You know, love shows up in weird ways, man.
It does.
But in that moment when you take, there's this funny thing that goes around and says there was a guy that met a girl. And whenever they were going out for a walk and there's like a pothole or something, the guy would be like, please be careful, there's a pothole there. Or if there's a dog barking, he'd be like, oh, there's a dog barking, be careful the dog doesn't bite you. After 5 years, when they go out for the walk and there's a pothole, the guy's like, are you stupid? Can't you see there's a pothole there? Or if there's a dog barking, he'd be like, are you deaf? Did you hear the dog barking?
So true. It's so true.
You know, so in our lives, I've always found that story very funny. But it doesn't mean the person doesn't love. It's just that sometimes we tend to take the people close to us for granted. And again, that is what I think causes so much drama, so that many people are depressed, we're on medication, we're doing all kinds of things. So, Carol, I love the fact that as a child, like you're saying, you're grateful for what you went through. So let's say there's a child watching this, putting yourself in that child's place. What would you say to that child? Or even to a mother, or even to a man who's sitting somewhere and maybe also grew up, maybe not alone, but in an environment that wasn't so safe. Because not safe is not just alcohol and mental issues, there are several issues. What would you say to the person?
That's a very provocative one, Anna. And I would want to say to the child, no. Know in your heart of hearts that you're going to be okay. If there is nobody else that you can count on, you can count on yourself. And you are being watched for even when you might not think that you are. There are people, I learned this in my own situation just as recently as the past year. There are people who know, even if you don't think they know. And thus, I want to encourage the child to take every possible care that she or he could do for themselves, and to make yourself your own best friend, because when you don't feel like you have any other friends, which I didn't, my cat was my friend, then know that this is all developing you into the person you're going to become. And I know that there are a lot of men and women who maintain that wounded inner child to this day. I would long to say to them that whatever you can find inside of yourself, to look in the mirror and be able to courageously confront your interior and to know it was not you. It was not you who caused it. You were not your circumstances. You do not have to be controlled by those circumstances. I encourage them, whatever you need to do to release yourself and to release those burdens and to release the demons and to know that you are profoundly okay and lovable in your interior. That is what I want people to know. Because as you've been saying with us, and we've all been saying it too, Anna, that it may look perfect on the outside, and I want people to know things are not always what they seem, and no, they don't have to be perfect.
Yes.
Sometimes they just have to survive. And survival was the act of courage itself.
I love it. Survival was the act of courage itself. How about we do a festival for that one too? We have so many festivals coming along. Oh, I'm all about celebrating the act of courage, the cry fest. Hell, anything that makes us happy.
Then we have to leave the cry fest out.
We should.
Well, it'll be a mix of tears
We
and
cry all
it will
the
definitely
time.
be a mix.
We've had enough
Good
cries.
release. When we get together and we're sitting around the kitchen table with Anna and we're talking, 4 or 5 of us, and we're sharing our
And we're
stories.
crying.
We are
We're
crying
crying,
and
yeah.
we are laughing. We have mascara running down our
Running
faces.
down our face and eating chips.
Yes. Having a glass of wine. And you know what? We walk out of there and we feel so much better because we could share.
We could share.
And appreciate it, and we don't judge each other. We're just real people sharing real stories.
And we could be honest with one
Yes.
another. You know, this is what I love about what we're trying to do, that we're honest with one another. None of us is coming forward saying that, you know, it's all perfect. And so we're still on the courage thing. So we'll be right back in a few seconds. So focus your thoughts on courage. Focus your thoughts on Cry Fest. But definitely be encouraged, be inspired. So honestly, I don't know what you're doing sitting at home. You should be with us here because we're laughing, we're enjoying ourselves, we're being honest. It's called No Holds Barred. Remember? Wrestling No Holds Barred. This is it right here amongst these ladies. And as we speak, a goddess emerged. This is Tahira Badri from Goddess Emerging Studios, correct? In Burlington. I just love what this woman does. Belly dancing. And man, this is one reason why you should be there, to see what's going to happen. I've known her quite some time, even though she probably doesn't remember.
I do remember.
You do?
I wondered if you remembered.
Oh, no, I do remember. So please tell us a little bit about yourself and, you know, what you do. And today's theme is about having one's own courage. So, yeah, tell us about yourself and what you do.
Well, I'm living my passion, teaching belly dancing. It was something I was guided to when I look back now. I know I was guided to the first class. I didn't know what belly dancing was. And the feeling I had just with the music and the movements, it just felt so amazing. And it helped me to go through a whole lot of stuff that was coming up in my life. And I was at the time, I was very shy. I was very repressed. I was in a marriage that I had lost all sense of who I was and no self-confidence. And the dance helped to make me feel alive again and gave me the courage to go through what I needed to go through. And my whole world came upside down. My marriage was over, everything. And the dance was my lifeline. And I started performing, which I never in a million years thought I would ever get up and dance in front of people. And it was just so exhilarating, and I just felt so amazing. And I started teaching. And as I started teaching, I discovered a lot of the women that were coming to classes had been in abusive relationships, and they were doing this for themselves, and they were looking for something for themselves. And so I was kind of surprised. I never used to tell people my story, and I thought, well, who wants to hear
We do.
that stuff? And then you realize everybody has a story. We've all gone
Everybody
through
has a
so
story.
much. And this this dance is for every woman. And there's so many misunderstandings about it and misconceptions. And women, a lot of women are, on the one hand, they're afraid to try it, but on the other hand, they've wanted to do it. You know, secretly in the back of their mind, you know, wish I could do that. And so it's become my mission to show every woman that you can do this.
Yes.
And you can start at any age, and doesn't matter what body shape or size you are.
Right.
I teach at 3 different senior centers. I have my own dance studio now, which is, again, is a miracle. And my oldest student is 92.
Really?
92.
She's been dancing with me for about 5 years,
Yeah.
and she's amazing.
I was telling
for
them
her.
before you came how you have, you know, all these women, and I was telling them the movement. I said, just wait till you see what's going to happen. I've seen you in action, and the way the women move, it's just, it's so freeing.
Yeah.
So when you talk about the fact that this gave you who you are, because you never thought you could even stand in front of people and perform.
No.
Give us an example of something that you went through that you thought this is it, but somehow deep inside your stomach you found the courage to now teach dance, which frees your spirit. Dance just frees your spirit.
It does.
Yeah.
Well, when I started dancing, everybody, I mean, this was 30 years ago. So it wasn't, now it's so popular, it's wonderful that it's been put out there. But at that time, it was kind of, people would look at you funny and roll their eyes and you're doing what? And my poor kids, they got ridiculed at school because their mother was a belly dancer. And I really had no support except for the other women in my troupe I was dancing with. We became a family. And yeah, my family didn't understand. They thought I was a little
She's gone.
but they noticed, they said it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Okay,
but
so
they were at a
noticed the
distance.
change.
They did. They knew it was good for me. They didn't understand it, and they didn't want to do it. They distanced themselves from it. But
Wow.
again, while I was distanced from my family, my husband had taken me away from everybody, my family, my friends. He ridiculed and criticized me until I was afraid to even think, because
Oh.
I would say something and then I'd be laughed at or put down. So I stopped. I just shut down completely. I was, he was very, very controlling, but it happened so subtly. And I was the kind of person who always wanted people to like me. So I would
Right.
do anything to be liked. I was afraid that somebody
Breathe.
wasn't going to like me. So that was who I was. So it was easy, I guess, for him to totally take away whatever little
Right.
sense of myself I
Self-esteem.
had left. And I tried to make things go well in the in the marriage. I didn't know what was wrong. There was always something wrong with me. I found out later on, in hindsight, he was a sex addict, and so yeah, and I was a virgin when I met him. So I was.
You were
he
totally-
told me this is the way men are. You know?
I'm loving
And you
this
should
show. Are
be. You should
loving
feel
it?
lucky. You know. That,
Oh my God! And now you know better.
wow, do I ever know better? But at the time, I didn't. And he said if he didn't get it from me, he'd get it from somebody else.
you
And he
wanted
said
to
I would
be-
still, I still love you. It wouldn't mean anything, but
I have
What
to
a
go
thoughtful
get it.
husband.
Yeah, that's very thoughtful.
yeah. So,
You know, I told you, this is it. No holds barred.
Yeah.
We're talking. So if I were you, I'd get off my couch, get in the car, and join this. But not to worry. If you're not able to join us today, we'll be back.
Yes.
We will be back. We're not even joking. Because this is just a little bit of the stuff we have in our pockets, in our bras, in our bags, in our shoes, in our hair. Oh no, we have stuff. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk to Miss Nadia, this young lady who has gone through, who is standing tall. You know, Nadia, I look in your eyes and there's a shine there. I look at you, and when you smile, I know that there's a joy in your heart. So for a young girl who's going through what maybe you went through. Because sometimes when you're young, you're like, I'm just going to die. I'm not going to make it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What would you tell the person? What would you say to that person?
Well, first of all, in order to identify with that feeling a little bit, or to, I guess, speak to the audience that's listening, it's almost as if, as Carol Ann had said, it's almost as going, as if you go on survival mode, okay? So it's like a big game of Survivor. And basically what happens to me at a certain point, and I'm not sure if anyone else this happens, you go on autopilot. Okay, so everything is not living. You're just surviving your life. You're at the bare minimum. You're walking on your knees, and you are got your hands extended to the sky because you know there's got to be more, but it's just not coming to you. I have been through the same as Carol Ann a little bit too. My mom was mentally ill growing up. I became an adult like that. It was not a question. It was something that needed to be. It was required of me, you know, to care for my sister, to care for my mother. I grew up so fast that I never had a chance to look back and see what it was like to be a child. And what I would say to women is that you have to take that time to breathe. After you're getting through, after you've found your courage, after, you know, you've been through the fire, you got to take the time. Even gold needs time to set. You know what I mean? After it comes out of the fire. And you have to remember, you need that time to set. You know, to be solidified in who you are and what you want in your life. And as Sandra had said before, it's a matter of finding your personal foundation. Knowing that you do have a foundation, regardless of whether you believe you do or not, or how that foundation was formed when you were younger, you have that foundation, you have the strengths, you have love. Everybody has love. I don't care how far down the black hole you are, you have a love that's inside of yourself, even if other people aren't giving it to you. And especially what I would like to say, as being a mother, because I have an almost 11-year-old in the next 2 weeks. It's okay. It's okay that you're not perfect. It's okay that every day you wake up and you make a mistake, because you know what? As you said before, perfection is overrated.
It's
It is overrated.
It's
It
overrated,
is not
people.
okay.
It is overrated. Let me just reiterate that. Perfection is overrated. You know, sometimes I look at people and I'm like, can you just breathe?
Yeah. And it's about being real. I think the thing is that in today's society, and as we've all agreed, it's isolation. You become isolated for what? Abuse. You become isolated because of, you know, verbal abuse, or your parents or your family weren't there, or there's just a real general sense in society these days of isolation, and nothing helps you. I mean, you're working all the time. You've got kids to take care of. You've got dinners to make. You've got friends to see.
Don't forget the bills that are harassing you.
We're trying to forget those.
I'm trying to forget about that right now. But isolation is so dangerous because we were not meant to live in isolation. We were meant to live in community with one another. And until we start realizing that and doing things like this, that opens up that thought process for people and makes people realize bad things happen all the time. It's just, why aren't we talking about them? It's okay to talk about how good things are and how, you know, courage is wonderful. But yeah, let's do Cry Fest, because I'm totally on board with that. Like, it's real. It's being genuine and letting it out. I'm on board.
And you know, at Cry Fest, we're going to have chips. We're going to have dips. I mean, it's going to be good. So, Tahir, is that how you say your name? Tahira. So, you started this belly dancing thing, and it's gone on and on. Where are you located?
I'm in Burlington. I have a studio, a home and studio, house of my dreams. It's an old Victorian farmhouse, and I've always wanted to live in a farmhouse, and now I have one. And I'm creating, my home is it's like a haven. And I call it a haven, and you feel it as soon as you pull in the driveway. Everybody says that. They feel they're in a different world. They feel safe. They feel comfortable. They just feel relaxed.
We just found the location for Cry Fest.
Yes. As long as we bring our producer with us.
Oh, no, we'll bring him. He'll just record the whole thing.
Oh, it'd be fabulous.
Nice like that.
Yeah, I want
He
to.
makes me look good. So we'll be like, Leo, today is Cry Fest. Bring your t-shirts because we're going to get you crying, whether you like it or not.
Well, it's good to get it out, but don't hang there. You know, you need
Yes.
that. You need to let it out and feel it, and then say,
Move on past
I'm not going to feel this way anymore.
Yeah.
It's
I
over,
like that.
and now things are good no matter what.
I
And
love it.
you can't see when you're in the chaos, but if you let yourself know that it's going to be okay, no matter what, you know you're loved, you know you're protected, you know you're going to get through it. There's a reason why this happens.
Yes.
And you are so much stronger after you get through it.
Oh,
And it's, you know, it's all part of the lesson and the journey.
I love it. I love it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, too bad we only have an hour. But like I said, if you didn't make it today, trust me, these ladies keep in touch with us. Because we'll be coming back. We'll be laughing some more. We'll be praying some more. We'll be encouraging each other some more. We'll be holding each other's hands and saying to one another, you're okay just the way you are.
Yes.
Mark your calendar, October 29th, the Women's Courage Awards. It's at the Woodbridge Banquet Hall. The address is 4000 Steeles Avenue. And what did I say? It's not the biggest event, but it's going to be an intimate event. An event where we feel loved, an event at which we feel cared about, an event at which even men begin to know, secretly of course, that they're honored. Because when we honor a woman, we honor their sons, we honor their husbands, we honor their grandparents, we honor their friends.
Yes.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Aidoo Show, aiming to encourage you, aiming to inspire you, wishing you all the best. Of course, like I always say, it's internet-based, so you can watch it anywhere, anytime. For inspiration, click Aidoo Show, alltalktv.com. And as usual, be encouraged, be inspired. This has been fun. Don't forget to pray. There's power in prayer. Don't forget to have fun, because it's not all meant to be tight. See you next time on the Aidoo Show. Be encouraged, be inspired.